Hello, my name's Tim. Welcome to Tim Burbage Reads, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what I read in April and some few other wrap-up things, and what I'm planning to read in May. So, usually I do these as two separate videos. I do a wrap-up and then I do a TBR, but this time I'm going to try and put them together, see how that goes, let me know in the comments below if you like that, if you like seeing both things. I'm also going to do a wrap-up of the TV I've watched and games, and I went to the cinema yesterday, so I'm going to include that, and a bit on the channel as well. So I finished 8 books in April, which is a lot, and it was quite funny because on the last day of April, I finished 3 different books. So if I'd filmed this a day before the end of April, it would have been a bit different. So 8 books, 2,503 pages, and overall rating, it was a very good month. Ratings of 4.25. So the first thing I read was The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This is a British cultural staple now, really. I bought it in a charity shop for 50p, and I might return it to the charity shop if they even take it. They probably have dozens of copies. It's on every shelf. It's now all of the British local kind of local crime novels all kind of copy the same cover style. So, but overall, I gave it 3 stars. I've got a review on the channel if you want to see my in-depth thoughts. But ultimately, I could see why it's really popular. I found the prose to be very, very stilted and not actually written very well, but very easy to read. I enjoyed the old people kind of bundling around. The case itself wasn't that interesting for me. I can see why it's popular, but I'm not like, wow, I really need to read the next one. But if someone who wasn't a reader, I'd feel comfortable recommending it to them. So I gave that 3 stars. The next was I read to my son. I read The Bad Guys 5 and 6. 5-star read for me. The Bad Guys is just brilliant. It's so funny. They're fighting aliens and and each other. They're constantly fighting each other. It's so funny to watch people just go insanely angry at each other all the time. That's kind of what the book is about. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Next book I finished was a novella called Small Town Problems by Chris Ritchie. This is a self-pub indie novella, which is a first contact story, and I've got a review on the channel as well. Very interesting. I really enjoyed the coziness of it. Is it perfect? No, but I think for a self-pub debut, I think it's a debut, I thought it was very good, and I would be interested in reading more, which is kind of all you're looking for, really. Next was a book we finished reading to the kids, which was Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Give me a second. We've got the special edition that we bought. That has some stuff on it. That's great. And inside, first of all, you've got a nice map of Camp Half-Blood. Got a lovely ribbon. And you've got some cool pictures. There we go. There's Chiron there. Yeah, so what we did, there's the Chimera. And at the back, there's some questions to Rick Riordan, some updates, talk about the hero's journey into film. There's a bit about the Greek gods. There's each myths related to the novel, and they do it by chapter. So if you want to go do some more lookout stuff, you can even see the cover letter that he wrote to try and get the query letter that he wrote to try and get an agent, which is pretty cool. So my kids love Percy Jackson. We've watched the TV show. We've went to see it in the theatre, and now we've read the first book, and the it's so good. It's so good for kids. It is quite long. It did take us a while. There's a bit too many chapters kind of explaining stuff at points. The kids' interest kind of waned, but they love the characters, they love the story, they love the myths, and now my son's doing Greek myths at school. Like, it's just, we're a Percy Jackson household. Like, and that's never going away, I don't think. It's probably one of my wife's favourite books as well, so we bought the special edition. It's very nice. Next, I read Congo by Michael Crichton. This, I've got a review on the channel. This is another 4-star read. This is a tech thriller set in the jungles of the Congo, looking at primatology, and they're trying to find diamonds, and there's also a lost city. And for me, I found it was very good until the end, where there was a slight prose tweak that kind of really took the tension away from me, and I thought it was trying to do too many things at once. This is the first book that I finished on the last day of April, was The Storm and the Seahawk by Kieran Millward Hargrave. This is book 2 in the Geomancer trilogy. This, we follow Isolde, who is trying to help her sister. Her sister has magic abilities. She can talk to trees, or she can listen to trees, actually. And to rescue her from the Wolf Queen, who's like an invading force in her country, which is based on Britain, Isolde has travelled to try and find a famous figure called the Anchorite, who is very magical, and she can unlock magic. And this is about Isolde travelling through the equivalent of Scandinavia, trying to find the Anchorite. This is so different to book 1, called In the Shadow of the Wolf Queen, which was an absolutely incredible book. This was really different in what it was trying to do. The cast was a lot smaller. It's a quest novel, ultimately, so you're moving from point to point to point, and you kind of move and you meet different people, you resolve an issue, and then you move on. It's very small in its cast and in the tension, and you see how what's going on in this world, which is ultimately climate change. You know, they call them happenings, but they're climactic events. And how the world is coping with that. Refugees and homelessness, and people being forced to move, not by war, but by nature, because where they live, there's been earthquakes or floods or storms. And what I loved about this is book 2. Book 2s are really tricky because you need to set up the finale, but you also need to deliver a good story. This could have just padded time and her not really achieve any of her goals to set up the goals for book 3. Isolde really does a lot in this book, and she really travels, and she really achieves what she thinks she needs to achieve. And there's huge changes in this story. So this is definitely a very strong, this is a 5-star read. This is a super strong middle book because so much happens in it. This is not padding by any stretch of the imagination. And I really, really enjoyed this. The second book that I finished on the last day of April was an audiobook I was listening to. I was listening to The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I started with The Hobbit earlier on in the year, and I just kind of went into The Fellowship of the Ring. I think it's taken me a couple of months. I'm kind of not doing this, on a strict time schedule. I'm doing this when I have free time, and I'm listening to it. And I've been listening to the Phil Dragash version. And it's so good. It's incredible. There's the music, there's sound effects, there's different accents, and I think it's all him. And I think he's just a fan. I think he just made it. He's not commissioned, I don't believe, to do this. And it's so good. The Fellowship of the Ring is brilliant. All the bits in the Shire are great. There's huge lore dumps. There's huge bits of walking, and you got Tom Bombadilling all over the place. I love it though. I just love it. I'm completely an apologist for it. I don't see the faults. I think it's just perfect. So 5 stars from me. And then the last thing that we read was, I read to my kids, was City of Dragons, The Awakening Storm. This is written by Jaimal Yogis and drawn by Vivian Trong, I believe is how it's pronounced. This is a graphic novel set in Hong Kong, where a girl who has gone to an international school in Hong Kong, she's Cantonese, but she doesn't speak, she's Chinese, but she doesn't speak Cantonese. And it's about her finding her culture, and she also finds a dragon. The dragon is super cute to start with, and it escalates quickly. For me, I don't think it's quite a 5-star read, partly because there are no chapters in it. I know that sounds really silly, but it's meant to be read in one sitting. Reading before bedtime, I couldn't do it in one sitting, so we had to break it up, and it was quite hard to find the gaps. And also, the kids are all chatting to each other, and that's great. But quite often when they are chatting, the backgrounds are just completely bare. You have no idea where they are. A little bit more background work. I would really like to make the art sing. But the art itself of the dragons, brilliant. Super, super cool. Yeah, so from that's all the books. A really good month of reading, but it was a bit of a race at the end. You know, otherwise I wouldn't have actually read that much. If I go into TV, you know, I'm still watching The X-Files. We're still watching Paradise. We finished Gladiators, which is a religion in our house. The Gladiators is just so good. It's perfect family television. We also, me and my wife watched Knuckles, the TV series, which I thought was fine. It's good. You know, it's all a bit silly. Watching Carrie Elwes gets work. I'm always happy for that. And then we've been going through and rewatching Schitt's Creek. So we finished season 2. We're in the middle of season 3 right now. But one thing I also have started watching is my favourite TV show of all time is Doctor Who. So we're now in the 2nd series with Ncuti Gatwa. At point of recording this, I've seen the first 3 episodes. The first episode, Rise of the Robots or something like that it's called, I thought was pretty good. It could have been better. I thought the time fracture thing was a bit not perfectly explained, though interesting. But episode 2, Lux, I loved Lux. I loved the production design. I loved the bad guy. The animation was brilliant. Just the ideas were so good. And it was just a really, really good story. And then episode 3, The Well, that was really good. Rosie Ayling-Ellis, I think is her name, the deaf actress. She was brilliant in it. I like the fact that it was kind of a sequel. It was still super creepy. Yeah, really, really good. So I'm looking I think this series is better than the last series. I do like Belinda more as a companion, mainly because she wants to go home. Like, she wants to go home, and you have this, that keep trying to get home and not getting there, and that's like a good narrative thread for the series that I'm really enjoying. Yeah, so I'm all good on Doctor Who at the moment. I still need to watch the latest episode, but I think the series is going places, and I really hope it continues to go places. One thing I really liked about The Well was that it was in a tangible set, you know. Same with Lux, it was in the movie theatre. It wasn't in this big fancy CG, you know. I don't need all that from Doctor Who. I want real people and real characters and real sets, even if some of them are a bit wobbly. I'm okay with that. Video game wise, I finished Princess Peach Showtime on my Switch, which was great. It was so good. Was I expecting the end to remind me of Sonic Adventure 2? Not really, but there we go. It did. Really enjoyed that. Then last night I went to the cinema and watched Thunderbolts. I know it's technically May now, but I'm including it in this. Thunderbolts. It's brilliant. MCU is back. It really is. What I really loved about it was, again, great characters, great cast, no CG green screen, you know, just heads floating in the ether. There obviously were visual effects, but I thought they were very narrow, and it felt tangible. It felt real, and I really enjoyed that. It was also much more about mental health than I was expecting from a superhero movie, and it's quite nice to see a film go really heavy on character and themes, and not so much on plot necessarily. There was still a good plot, but it was more about the character and themes, and I really enjoyed that. Now, update on the channel. It's been a quiet month on the channel. I only released 5 videos in April. I got 957 views, which is a little bit down. Usually I get about 1,000, so it's not that much of a difference. Again, 38.8 watch hours. I usually get 40. But I did only release 5 videos, and I only released 1 video in the last kind of 2 weeks of the month because I hadn't finished any books yet. So overall, I did increase the sub count. The sub count increased by 9, so welcome. And my top videos were, in third place was my Thursday Murder Club review, which at the time I did the counts was 75 views, which is really good. That's kind of double what I usually get for a review. Then it's my Twisted Tales series video, which is just always top or second top, and that got 96 views. But my top review was my view on the Long Earth, or not the Long Earth, the Long War, book 2 in the Long Earth series, and why I'm giving that series up, which just went gangbusters, really. It got 169 views in the month, which is crazy. It's crazy high. And yeah, I don't know why. Maybe I need to do more slightly negative reviews of sequels of sci-fi series that came out 15 years ago. Is that the niche that I need to fit? It's a bit... I don't like necessarily doing negative reviews. I think the headline, I call it why I'm giving up on the series. Generally, if you call something that, you get more people watching it. People like negativity, but I don't really like doing those reviews too much. I like reading good books. But yeah, so I'm happy with the channel. I've got in this month, in May, it's going to be 2 years on the channel. So I'm going to try and do a wrap up, on 2 years, and then I think there's some kind of book tag I can do. So I'm looking to do that, but I'm really, really happy. I haven't dipped under 200 subscribers. That was always the fear, especially when you do a Q&A. But no, I'm really happy that you guys are here. I really appreciate it. Now, that's usually when I end the video, but now I'm going to go into my May TBR. And there's some things here that are a little bit different. So, first of all is the book I'm planning to read as part of my Disney Read-Along Challenge, which is in another video, which should go out before this one. And I'm not going to tell you the reasons why. Go watch that video to find out. But it's going to be Princess of Thieves by Mary Mancusi, a Twisted Tale novel. What if Maid Marian was the real outlaw? So I'm going to read that in May. Next is May. It's kind of Star Wars. May the 4th is Star Wars Day and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to read Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. Zahn. I'm going to call it Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. That's what I'm going to say now. This is the author wrote a trilogy of books in the 90s about this guy called Thrawn, set in the extended universe. Incredibly popular. I think the book one is called Heir to the Empire, and then that all got made into Legends continuity. So for the new continuity, he wrote a new trilogy called starting with Thrawn, and I think this might be in first-person perspective. I don't really know, but my brother-in-law read this and said it was really, really good. And yeah, so I think if you're reading new Star Wars literature, Thrawn seems to be a place to start. On Andrew Watson's Discord, there is a buddy read of this going on. I was meant to read a bit of this on May the 4th. That didn't happen. But yeah, I'm planning to read this in May. Next is a book that my sister-in-law lent me, and I went, I'm going to read that someday. And then Charlie from Charlie Read a Book said, I'm going to read this book this month, and I know Tim has it, so he should read it. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Look how shiny that is. I don't mean to be that shiny. So this is, it was the best fantasy debut of 2018, according to Wired. So that tells me when it came out. It's a big book. I know this is very controversial in kind of booktube spaces, because some people say it's amazing and then other people say it's overhyped. People come into it thinking it's YA when it's not. There's a whole thing about female authors being more likely to be put into YA for speculative fiction, fantasy, romance, sci-fi, things like that. I know this is the first of a trilogy, and people say it can be pretty heavy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that with Charlie. You might get a video out of it. I don't know. Timelines need to align on that, because I'm a little bit behind on that. And then the last book in my to-do list, which I am currently reading, is, I've taken the dust jacket off. It's Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am currently 170 pages in. This is about a woman tennis player playing in the 80s, then retires. She's like the best. She has the record for the most titles, major titles. So she has the record for most titles. She's kind of the best. She's also very arrogant and brash and kind of unfeminine. So the press don't really like her that much. They call her the battle axe. But she eventually retires. And then someone is close to beating her record. So she comes back for one more year. She's only doing the majors. I've just read the first major is done, plus the kind of flashback. This is interesting because I'm enjoying reading it, and it's so easy to read. One, there's just a lot of empty space on the pages. This is a big hardback book, and there's just, it's not super big, it's fairly big text. Whenever there's a new chapter, there's like half the page is missing, you know, like that. And it's just written lots of very short sentences. It's a similar style to Richard Osman, I think, kind of for not big readers, writing for not big readers, or maybe just because I read fantasy, so I'm used to kind of long flowing sentences. But this is very kind of short, snappy, gets to the point. Very telly, actually, especially the first part where she's kind of doing a flashback. Is super telly. But now it's moved from past tense and now it's in present tense, which is again kind of easier to read and kind of pulls you forward. But I do think it's written better than Richard Osman was due to the prose itself. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm about halfway through and I'm looking to finish that. Then I've got a couple of kind of things on the go, books on the go, which aren't quite books, if you get my meaning. That's a really stupid way to phrase it. I've still got The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, book 2 in the Wheel of Time. I've got that on my Kindle. I'm not kind of prioritizing that at the moment. It hasn't grabbed me. You know, I am enjoying it, but I kind of read it in dribs and drabs here and there, and I've already got a load of books to read. I've also started The Two Towers audiobook. Again, that's just going to be kind of going along in the background. And the final book that's a bit different from the others is Dracula by Bram Stoker. So I've tried reading Dracula before in the past, a long time ago, like 10 plus years ago. I got it on my Kindle and I got to a point and I thought it was really interesting. And then I got to a point and it was just like people talking about their day-to-day lives and like, ooh, I think she's going to marry this guy. And ooh, I think he's going to marry this guy. Ooh, I heard a rumor about this. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I wasn't enjoying that. So I stopped it. But then Charlie, again, from Charlie Read a Book, 2 mentions in one video. He's making it now. Talked about something called Dracula Daily, which is a Substack, and Dracula is written all in epistolary format. So what you do on this is that you sign up for free, and then whenever there is a diary entry or a letter, on that date you receive it. So you receive the book. You read the book in real time, so to speak. So yeah, I've started doing that. So I've read 3 entries so far, which is all set in Jonathan Harker. There's also like a funny little 1-sentence summary at the top, which is quite funny. But I'm enjoying it so far. I have no idea how long Dracula is, so I have no idea when I will be finished with this. So I'm not kind of tracking it in my reading, like, oh, I'm gonna read this book this month. You know, I'm not putting it in my targets or anything like that, because the book is done when it's done. And when I get to it, I think we're going on holiday, so I'll have to like catch up on my reading on it. You know, it'll be there in my inbox waiting, which is very strange. I'm going to get emails from Dracula and from Jonathan Harker and from Van Helsing and people. But yeah, and that's what I'm planning to read. So let me know in the comments below what you think of me putting my wrap-ups and TBRs together in the same video, especially the stuff that's like about TV and games and films and updates on the channel, things like that. This video is now quite long, so apologies for that. But yeah, those are my books that I'm planning to read, plus a few others in kind of varying formats. So Give this video a like, really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you want to see. I will try and put a review. I try to put a review for every book I read, grown-up books anyway. Kids books I kind of do in the wrap-ups. And I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out of my house!